You accepted a job offer for $65,000 a year. You did the math in your head. $65,000 divided by 12. That's roughly $5,400 per month. You budgeted around it. You made plans around it. You maybe even told someone what you'd be making. Then your first paycheck arrived. $3,490. You stared at it. You checked the math again. You wondered if HR made a mistake. They didn't. Nearly $2,000 of your monthly salary, money you earned, money you were promised, money you planned around was gone before you ever touched it. And here's what nobody told you. That's just the beginning. Because the number on your offer letter, that's not your salary. That's a starting point for a long list of deductions, taxes, and costs that quietly carve away at your paycheck from every direction, most of which you never agreed to, never questioned, and probably never fully calculated. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what your paycheck is actually delivering versus what it promised. You'll understand every line on that pay stub. And more importantly, you'll know the specific moves that let you keep more of what you earn legally, strategically, and starting today. Let's tear this apart. Let's start with the most fundamental lie in personal finance. The salary number you negotiate, celebrate, and plan around is called your gross income. It's the number before anything is taken out. What actually hits your bank account is your net income, also called take-home pay. It's what's left after the government, your employer, and a dozen other line items have taken their share. For most Americans, the gap between these two numbers is staggering. Let's use a concrete example. You earn $65,000 per year. Here's what actually happens to that money before you see a single dollar. Federal income tax. For a single filer in 2026 earning $65,000, your effective federal tax rate, the actual percentage of your total income paid in federal taxes after deductions, sits at approximately 12 to 14%. That's roughly $7,800 to $9,100 per year, gone. FICA taxes, Social Security, and Medicare, these come out at a flat 7.65% on every dollar you earn up to a certain threshold. On $65,000, that's approximately $4,972 per year, no exceptions, no deductions, straight off the top. State income tax. This depends entirely on where you live. 9 states charge zero income tax: Florida, Texas, Nevada, Washington, Wyoming, South Dakota, Alaska, Tennessee, and New Hampshire. But if you're in California, your state income tax could add another 6 to 9% on top. New York adds roughly 6%. Illinois takes 4.95% flat. If you're in a high-tax state, add another $3,000 to $5,000 per year to your deduction list. Adding just federal income tax and FICA on $65,000 in a zero-income tax state, you're already down approximately $13,000 to $14,000 per year. Your $65,000 salary is now delivering roughly $51,000 to $52,000 before a single other deduction. But we're just getting started. Pull up your most recent pay stub. If you've never actually read every line, you're about to understand your money in a completely different way. Health insurance premiums. If your employer offers health insurance, and most do, your share of the premium comes directly out of your paycheck. The average employee contribution for employer-sponsored health insurance in 2025 was approximately $1,400 per year for individual coverage and roughly $6,100 per year for family coverage, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation annual survey. That's $117 to $508 per month, quietly leaving your paycheck for coverage that you may rarely use or absolutely need. Either way, it's reducing your take-home before you make a single financial decision. 401k contributions. If you're contributing to a 401k, which you should be, and we'll come back to why, that's another reduction to your take-home. Contributing 6% of a $65,000 salary means $3,900 per year, or $325 per month, goes into your retirement account before you see it. This one is different from taxes. This money doesn't disappear. It's yours, it's growing, and it's building your future, but it does reduce your immediate paycheck, and most people don't consciously account for it when they're budgeting around their gross salary. Dental and vision insurance. Smaller deductions, typically $15 to $50 per month combined, but they add up. Another $180 to $600 per year off the top. Life insurance, disability insurance, FSA contributions. Many employers offer these. Some are worth having. All of them further reduce the distance between your gross salary and what actually lands in your account. Now let's add it all up for our $65,000 earner in a moderate tax state, contributing 6% to their 401k with standard health insurance. Federal income tax. Approximately $8,500 FICA taxes, approximately $4,972 state income tax, moderate state, approximately $2,500 health insurance premium, approximately $1,401 contribution, approximately $3,900 dental and vision, approximately $400 total deductions, approximately $21,672 take-home pay, approximately $43,328 per year, or roughly $3,611 per month. You were hired at $65,000. You're living on $43,328. That's a 33% gap between what your employer pays and what you actually receive. 1/3 of your gross salary evaporates before you make a single personal financial decision. And this is before rent, before groceries, before your car, before anything. Here's where it gets worse. Because the deductions on your pay stub aren't the end of the story, they're just the first wave. The second wave is what economists call the cost of earning. These are the expenses you only have because you have a job, costs that most people never subtract from their true take-home, because they don't think of them as job-related. Commuting costs. The average American commutes 27 minutes each way, according to U.S. Census data. That's 54 minutes per day, roughly 225 hours per year, nearly 6 full 40-hour work weeks spent just getting to and from work. But beyond time, there's direct financial cost. The IRS estimates the average cost of driving at 67 cents per mile in 2024. If you commute 15 miles each way, below the national average, that's 30 miles per day, 7,500 miles per year, at 67 cents per mile, $5,025 per year, just to get to work and back. Add parking if applicable, add tolls, add accelerated vehicle maintenance from daily driving. Some people's true commuting cost exceeds $8,000 to $10,000 annually. Work clothing and appearance. Most jobs have explicit or implicit dress expectations. Conservative estimate, $800 to $1,500 per year in work-specific clothing, dry cleaning, and grooming that you would not spend if you weren't working. Convenience spending from time poverty. This one is invisible but enormous. When you work full-time, you're time poor. Time poverty drives spending on convenience. Takeout instead of cooking, grocery delivery instead of shopping, paid services instead of DIY tasks you'd handle if you had more time. Research from the Harvard Business Review found that full-time workers spend approximately $4,000 to $7,000 more per year on convenience-driven purchases than people who don't work full-time, simply because they lack the time to do things themselves. Childcare. For parents, this can be the single largest hidden cost of employment. The average annual cost of full-time childcare in the United States exceeds $15,000 and reaches $25,000 or more in high-cost cities. For many dual-income families, one parent's entire salary after taxes barely covers childcare costs, meaning their effective hourly wage after childcare is close to zero. Let's conservatively add these costs of earning back to our $65,000 example. Commuting, $5,000 work clothing and grooming, $1,000 convenience spending, $4,000 childcare if applicable, varies enormously. Even without childcare, that's an additional $10,000 per year in costs that exist only because of the job. Your $65,000 salary is now delivering approximately $33,000 to $35,000 in true economic value. Your real hourly wage, based on what you actually keep after taxes, deductions, and work-related costs, on a 40-hour workweek is closer to $16 to $17 per hour, not $31 per hour, which is what $65,000 looks like on paper. $16 per hour. Does that number change how you think about your next financial decision? It should. Here's why understanding your real take-home pay changes everything. Most people price their time and purchases using their gross hourly rate. They think in terms of their salary, but every financial decision you make is funded by your net income, your real take-home after everything. This creates a systematic miscalculation that affects every spending decision you ever make. Consider this framework, developed by Vicki Robin in the book Your Money or Your Life, one of the most important personal finance books written in the last 30 years. Every purchase you make costs not just dollars, it costs hours of your life, specifically, the number of hours you had to work to earn the after-tax after-cost money to pay for it. Using the real take-home rate of $16 to $17 per hour, we calculated above for our $65,000 earner. That's $600 dinner out with friends. You worked approximately 36 hours for it, nearly a full work week. That $35,000 car, you worked approximately 2,000 hours, a full year of your life. That $1,200 per month apartment upgrade over your previous place, you work approximately 71 hours every month, nearly 2 full work weeks, just to fund the upgrade. This isn't to say these purchases are wrong. Context matters, values matter, enjoyment matters, but most people make these decisions using the wrong denominator. They think in terms of gross income and feel wealthy. They should be thinking in terms of real take-home and hours of life. The moment you start measuring purchases in real hours of your life, your ending decisions change fundamentally, not because you become cheap, because you become intentional. Here's where this gets empowering, because understanding what's being taken from your paycheck also reveals exactly where you can get some of it back, legally, strategically, and without any complexity. Move 1. Maximize pre-tax retirement contributions. Every dollar you contribute to a traditional 401k or traditional IRA reduces your taxable income by exactly $1. This is the single most powerful tool available to ordinary wage earners. Let's make this concrete. You earn $65,000. You contribute $10,000 to your traditional 401k. The IRS now taxes you as if you earned $55,000, dropping from $65,000 to $55,000 in taxable income saves you approximately $1,500 to $2,200 in federal income taxes, depending on your specific situation, plus state income taxes if applicable. You didn't get a raise. You didn't find a loophole. You used the exact system the IRS designed, exactly as intended, and you kept $1,500 to $2,200 that would have otherwise gone to taxes. For 2026, you can contribute up to $24,500 to a 401k if you're under 50, up to $7,500 to a traditional IRA. That's a combined potential tax deduction of $32,000 for people who maximize both. Move 2. Use an HSA if you qualify. If you have a high-deductible health insurance plan, many employer plans qualify. You have access to a health savings account. The HSA is the only account in the U.S. tax code with triple tax advantages. Contributions are tax-deductible. Growth is tax-free. Withdrawals for medical expenses are tax-free. For 2026, you can contribute $4,400 for individual coverage or $8,750 for family coverage. If you're healthy enough to pay current medical expenses out of pocket, invest your HSA contributions. Let them compound for 20 to 30 years. Withdraw tax-free in retirement for healthcare costs, which will be substantial. The HSA used as an investment vehicle is arguably more powerful than a Roth IRA for people who qualify. Most people use it as a spending account. That's a significant missed opportunity. Move 3. Dependent Care FSA if you have children. If you're paying for childcare, a Dependent Care FSA allows you to contribute up to $5,000 per year in pre-tax dollars for qualifying childcare expenses. On a $65,000 salary, that $5,000 pre-tax contribution saves you approximately $750 to $1,100 in federal taxes alone. You're paying for childcare regardless. Paying for it with pre-tax dollars through an FSA simply costs you less. Move 4. Review your W-4 withholding. Many Americans over-withhold on their federal taxes, giving the government an interest-free loan all year, and then celebrating their refund in April. The average federal tax refund in 2025 was approximately $3,100. That sounds like found money. It isn't. It's your money that was withheld from your paychecks all year, held by the IRS without interest, and returned to you 12 months later. Adjusting your W-4 to withhold the correct amount, not too much, not too little, means that $3,100 comes to you in $258 per month increments throughout the year, instead of in one lump sum in April. $258 per month, invested immediately at 10% annual returns. Over 30 years, that's an additional $570,000 at retirement, from simply adjusting your withholding correctly. Move 5. Understand your marginal versus effective tax rate. This one is mostly psychological, but it matters. Most people hear they're in the 22% tax bracket and assume they pay 22% on all their income. They don't. The U.S. tax system is progressive. You pay 10% on the first $11,925 of taxable income, 12% on income from $11,925 to $48,475, $22%, only on income above $48,475 up to $103,350. Your marginal rate, the rate on your last dollar earned, is 22%. Your effective rate, the actual percentage of your total income paid in taxes, is significantly lower. For a $65,000 earner with standard deductions, the effective federal rate is closer to 11 to 12%. Why does this matter? Because people sometimes avoid raises or additional income out of fear of moving into a higher bracket. That fear is based on a misunderstanding. Moving into a higher bracket only applies the higher rate to the income above the threshold, not to all your income. An additional dollar earned always leaves you with more money, never less. Here's the exercise I want you to do this week. Calculate your real hourly wage. Take your gross annual salary, subtract federal and state income taxes, subtract FICA, subtract health insurance premiums, subtract your 401k contributions if applicable, subtract your annual commuting costs, subtract an honest estimate of work-related convenience spending. Divide that final number by the actual hours you spend working, including commute time, work events, time spent thinking about work outside of work hours. That is your real hourly wage, the true exchange rate between your time and your money. For most people at a $65,000 salary, that number lands somewhere between $14 and $19 per hour. Now use that number as your lens for every spending decision. Not the gross hourly rate, not the salary number on your offer letter. The real number, what you actually receive for each hour of your life exchanged. When you're purchasing decisions, use the right denominator. Everything changes, not because you spend less on things that matter, because you stop spending so much on things that don't. Your paycheck was never the number on your offer letter. It was always something smaller, carved down by taxes, premiums, deductions, and costs that compound silently for your entire working career. Now you know the real number. Use it. Your salary is a promise. Your paycheck is reality, and the gap between them has been quietly shaping every financial decision you've ever made, usually without you realizing it. Here's what I want you to do right now. Pull up your last pay stub, add up every deduction, calculate your real monthly take-home, then add your commuting costs and work-related spending. That final number, not the gross, not the offer letter, not the round number you tell people at dinner, is what you actually have to build your life and your future on. Once you know the real number, you can work with it. You can maximize pre-tax contributions to reduce your tax bill. You can adjust your withholding so your money works for you all year instead of sitting with the IRS. You can price every purchase in real hours of your life and decide if it's actually worth it. The paycheck was lying. Now you know the truth. What you do with it is entirely up to you. See you in the next one.